Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm JC with the Aloha Press, and this is this week's Overreaction Monday to the Riviera, the Genesis Invitational. I mean, good golly, we had absolutely a remarkable week of golf. Lots of drama. We've had lots of just ups and downs and exciting things. But before we get started, we got to initiate one thing.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Joaquin Niemann gets the victory. I mean, where's he from? Chile? I think he's from Chile. Anyways, Joaquin Niemann gets a victory at 19 under. It's freaking incredible. Gets a two-shot victory over Colin Morikawa and a very, very young rookie, Mr. Young at 17 under over Viktor Hovland, Adam Scott, Justin Thomas. All these guys were so far back. Joaquin Niemann went wire to wire to get the victory, and it was absolutely pretty incredible. I mean, the guy goes out there and just does some cool shit. I mean, his shot on 18, that low runner with the driver was absolutely just incredible. The way his iron play this week was just absolutely remarkable. I mean, he goes 63-63 Thursday, Friday, and then just goes out there and just is Mr. Consistency. I mean, goes into the week, missing the cut last week, and he wasn't putting particularly well. I mean, I think he was ranked like 153rd on the PGA Tour in strokes gained putting. And then this week, I mean, I think he was ranked third this week, and it showed. I mean, this guy's iron play, his accuracy off the tee, and the way he was just the way he picked apart this golf course. I mean, this golf course is one of those golf courses that is kind of, if you're into golf, if you're into, watching amazing, really historic golf courses that really mean a lot and don't necessarily, just hit big drives and just, kind of wedge it up there and two putt and hope you make birdie. This is a golf course where you need to be on the right side of the fairways. You need to be a real tactician out there when you're trying to go for these pins. And I think it showed. I mean, just the way he ran away with it was pretty incredible. And Sunday wasn't probably the most exciting golf time I've ever watched, but it was pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed watching Joaquin Niemann. I mean, the guy's one of the youngest guys to ever win out on the PGA Tour, which is pretty incredible. I looking forward to his journey. I mean, he's apparently buddies with Sergio Garcia, which is pretty incredible. Sergio was waiting for him there on the 18th green. But you got to look back and you got to look at like some of the things that he did well. And that golf course, good God. I mean, it's pretty remarkable, right? I mean, this place looks and just feels like a historic place. And I see why the Olympics has picked it out to show up there here in a couple years to play the Olympics at this particular golf course. It just kind of shows you the guys who you don't need to necessarily be that particularly long, but you got to be an incredible ball striker. And guys who are incredible ball strikers showed up today, showed up this week. I mean, Justin Thomas, Viktor Hovland, Scheffler, who just won. I mean, Max Homa, CT Pan. I mean, Morikawa. I mean, the dude was almost world number one. He needed a victory this week, but it was cool to see. It was absolutely amazing to see, and it was amazing to to see that on display. A couple things that I noticed this week in regards to the golf course, hole 10. I mean, what a train wreck. I mean, you look at hole 10 at Riviera and you go, do I want to play that hole every day as my home golf course hole? And to be quite honest with you, absolutely not. It was either these guys were making birdie, Colin Morikawa chipped it in for eagle, but other than that, I mean, that hole was ridiculous. I mean, Young got up and down somehow for I think it was birdie. No, it was for a par. Really remarkable, absolutely remarkable on how like his bunker play coming out of there. It seems like that golf hole is just, and they even talked on the broadcast. It's kind of lost, some of its desire. I mean, it's just bomb a driver down the left side and just chip it up there and hope you can make a par. Because if you miss at all, right or left in those bunkers, I mean, you are absolutely just fucked. There is no way of getting it up and down. I mean, at one point in time, Mark Leishman, I think he made it like a fucking 6 or an 8 on that hole. And it just seemed like he went from bunker to bunker. The green is just, it's so impractical. I mean, the thing's rolling at 13, 14 on the Stimpmeter, and you just think like it's the best and worst golf hole on the golf course. I mean, you look at it and go, as a fan's perspective, like you just know the fucking train wreck is just gonna happen. And if you're playing great golf, if you're playing the best golf, it ain't that big a deal, I guess. But I think it's definitely unfair at times, but I love it. I fucking love the train wreck. I love the impossible hole. Why not? You got one out there. Don't make a big number. I mean, I would hit probably like 7-iron, and putt it from about 40 yards away, but that's just the way it goes. So I thought it was pretty cool. The golf course from our boy, we had some inside knowledge, sent us some pictures, which was pretty incredible. Travis, big fan of ours and big fan of the Aloha Press, which was pretty incredible, shooting us some pictures and stuff. There was a little drama that unfolded that we were a little privy to. Patrick Reed might have been caught cheating. It appeared that he might have been, rubbing some mystery substance on his golf club. He did not make the cut this week, which I predicted, by the way, which was pretty incredible. But getting back to Joaquin Niemann before we walk away, there's a lot of drama and things going on that we're going to cover, but I'm happy for him. It's this kid is remarkable. He fended off a guy like Colin Morikawa, who another young guy, but a guy who's won 2 major championships. And if Joaquin Niemann can get his putter in line like he did this weekend on challenging greens, super fast, Poana bumpy, unpredictable, putting surfaces, this dude, I can't imagine. I mean, I think he's going to win a major championship this year. If he can get his putter as hot as he did this week, and his iron play and the way he drives it off the tee box, I mean, look out. I mean, we got the Old Course this year. I mean, the Old Course might be his best opportunity, that or the Masters. And I don't know if he has the same experience or the necessary experience to succeed at Augusta National, but it's going to be a hell of a show. And it was cool to see Niemann and Morikawa. That guy, fuck, he chipped in on 10. He chipped in on 7. I mean, when he was missing with his irons, he was just getting up and down from everywhere. Like, getting up and down in the sense of, like, he was just making everything, which was incredible. When it came to, like, pars, that was what struggled for Morikawa, which was kind of shocking. Some of the chip shots he hit, I mean, God, those are some tight lies. God, that is some really good work with the wedge. I mean, to be able to lay open a 60-degree wedge and just nip it perfect on some of that, that Kikuya or whatever the hell they were talking about on some of that turf. I mean, just really remarkable. Colin Morikawa, again, he's shaping up to be in major championship season in prime form, which is remarkable. So, what do you guys think? What did you think about the golf course? What did you think about the tournament? I know Sunday was a little bit boring, but it is what it is. So I would love to hear your comments, your quotes, your ideologies. Give it to me down below in the comment section. But how did the broadcast do? I gotta give it to him. Faldo is horrible, and Dottie Pepper's just as worse. But I thought it was pretty good. Like it's surprisingly, like, I feel like we're seeing more shots. It's exciting to have Jim Nantz there. It's exciting to just hear some of the banter, which is relieving. They were talking about more than just PGA Tour stuff. They were talking about major championships. It was cool to see Tiger Woods on the telecast. It was cool to see him kind of confuse Nick Faldo, which I appreciate. But Tiger Woods, oh my gosh. 1 year later from that horrific accident, and man, it doesn't look good for the Masters. And you got to think, like, why not? Why not the Masters? And it just seemed like Tiger Woods was very, very forward in regards to, like, hey, like, this isn't going to happen. Like, it's a blessing that I'm here. It's a blessing that, I'm able to play golf with my son, but the ankle is just not in form. And it doesn't sound like hiking up hills at one of the most challenging walks in golf at Augusta National is going to happen. And that sucks. That really sucks. I mean, you can only hope that maybe a U.S. Open, maybe could issue him a golf cart. Maybe at the PGA Championship could issue him a golf cart. I mean, man, it just sucks. It just sucks to see him really, kind of lay it out there. And it's disappointing. It was good to see him there. It was good to see him on the broadcast. It was good to see him hosting. And good to see him back in LA. I mean, shit, it's been 30 years since he made his start as an amateur at the the LA Open or the Genesis Invitational, whatever the hell you want to call it. Cool to see. Good to have Tiger back in the mix, just in the spotlight. He always brings some excitement in a different way now as he's getting older. But as the Genesis, as we wrap that up, I mean, from the broadcast to the golf course to the victory, this was compelling tournament. I really enjoyed it. It sucks that we're leaving the West Coast of golf. I enjoy the late night evenings of watching golf, but at the same time, we're going to be headed to the Honda Classic, which, to be honest with you, I'm not excited about. I wish golf in the wintertime would spend most of its time on the West Coast, but it is what it is. But let's get into some of the other activities going on in the world of golf. The week started out just hyper focused on the PGL, the Saudi Beheaded Classic. I mean, I make fun of this tournament, this organization, this league a lot. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of what they represent. I'm not a fan of their practices. I'm not a fan of their country. I'm not a fan of our country being involved with them at all. It's shocking and sad that this was even a consideration. The PGL was one of those things that was an opportunity. If any other country, if any other organization, if any other person, investment group was going to lead this charge, I'd be like, fuck it, let's see it. Let's see it. Like, let's absolutely get after it. And some of the reports, and we'll bring up some of the Twitter things that we saw earlier this week. Alan Shipnuck from golfweek.com, I mean, came out and on his Twitter said, pretty much said, I think this was on Wednesday or Thursday, a very prominent tour agent tells me that the Saudi plan has always been to announce that they have signed 20 players and they just got to 20. A formal kickoff is now expected the week of the Players, the PGA Tour's flagship event. I respect the bitchiness, end quote. Now, looking at this quote from Alan Shipnuck, which he's a big name in the game of golf in the sense of just the following he has, but also his job at Golf Week. Hearing this earlier this week was a big shock. I didn't really see them having 20 big names to start this damn thing, but as we look at it, and as some of the names that came out, even with not Scotty Scheffler, Adam Scott came out and said, hey, like, what they're proposing is rather attractive. The schedule alone is incredible. I mean, they're going to spend 10 events in the United States and then spend like another 5 events, around the world. It's enticing. The money's enticing. And you got to look and you see that comment and it's just like, really? 20? You got 20 guys? And to be honest with you, I think they do. They don't have the 20 guys that we thought they had because as more news came out, in the beginning of the week, I mean, from the PGA Tour, again, reiterating, like, if you join this tour, if you are a part of this, you are going to be banned from the PGA Tour. And then this tweet comes out and says, like, hey, 20 guys have signed up. They're ready to go. And they're going to be notified. They're going to be letting everyone know the week of the PGA Tour's biggest week, their flagship event, not a major championship, a fucking PGA Tour event, their Super Bowl, essentially, out of the Players Championship. And you look at that and you're like, holy shit, like, this is real. This is for real. And you're kind of nervous. You're kind of scared. I mean, guys who hadn't come out and said anything about it like Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau. Phil Mickelson seemed like he was on board. Looked like Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter, guys like Paul Casey, even who else? Mark Leishman, Jason Kokrak, Dylan Fratelli, John Rahm was even, kind of hinted. Tony Finau, Kevin Na, Patrick Reed. All of these guys who, essentially had spent some time over there in the Saudi Arabia, hills of the Beheading Classic. You got to think, man, they had a shot. But then something just keeps unraveling. It just keeps going. And sure enough, you've got another, just another, quote from Alan Shipnuck. Just absolutely shocking as I pull it up from Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson was quoted by Alan Shipnuck. He told him back in November, okay, and I'm going to quote, if you're listening to the podcast, I'm going to read it to you. If you're listening on YouTube, well, it's right in front of you. Mickelson told me he had enlisted 3 other top players he declined to name, that they had paid for attorneys to write an agreement codifying that the players would have control of all the details. He did not pretend to be excited about the, hitching his wagon to, let me fix this. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Let's see here. All right, sorry. Yeah, where was I? All right, let me start that over. Phil Mickelson told he had enlisted 3 other top players he declined to name, and that they had paid for attorneys to write the SGL's operating agreement, codifying that the players would have control of all the details. He didn't pretend to be excited about hitching his fortunes to Saudi Arabia. Admitting the SGL was nothing more what he called sports washing by brutally repressive regime. They're scary, quote by Phil Mickelson, they're scary motherfuckers to get involved with, he said. We know they killed Washington Post reporter and U.S. resident Jamal Khashoggi and have a horrible record on human rights. They execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all this, why would I even consider it? Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates. They've been able to get by with manipulative, coercive, strong-arm tactics because we, the players, had no recourse. Nice a guy as PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan comes across as, unless you have leverage, you won't do what's right. The Saudi money has finally given us that leverage. I'm not sure I even want the SGL to succeed, but just as the idea is allowing us to get things done with the PGA Tour. Oh my God. It is just absolutely, trying to get this thing off the screen. It is absolutely shocking that the regime president and freaking, sausage factory Greg Norman is sitting there thinking that they've got a freaking league. And then Alan Shipnuck drops this bomb from Phil Mickelson. And this is back in November that he made this statement. And Phil Mickelson still hasn't come out and given his statement on this, but it just kind of shows you that Phil Mickelson's manipulating the game. Phil Mickelson is manipulating the audience. He's manipulating the PGA Tour. He's manipulating a lot of things. And I believe he had 3 players signed up for this shit. And I believe the players that came out and made statements during this week, specifically Dustin Johnson, through the PGA Tour Commissioner marketing Twitter account, pretty much said, hey, I'm sticking with the PGA Tour. John Rahm said, hey, I'm sticking with the PGA Tour. Bryson DeChambeau came out and said, hey, I'm sticking with the PGA Tour. And is it shocking that the best players in the world want to play the best players in the world? Or it's shocking that after the fact, after all this chaos and after all this nonsense and all the things that appears that Phil Mickelson was leading these people down to essentially manipulate the PGA Tour to essentially provide them with more money. And you look at some of the information that's come out in regards to the last year's payout compared to this year's payouts. It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. Last year, Max Homa got paid like $1.3 million to win this tournament at the Genesis Invitational. This year, Joaquin Neiman walked away with $2.1 million. And Colin Morikawa and Cameron Young walked away with $1 million each. It's just really remarkable and really shocking that, what's being said out there. I mean, it is crazy. I mean, the things that Phil Mickelson said, I mean, it is absolutely scary. Again, quote, "They're scary motherfuckers to get involved with." First of all, it's just shocking that Phil Mickelson even got involved with these fucking people anyways. And it's kind of scary. But then, after Dustin Johnson and Bryson DeChambeau comes out and says what he said, you had Rory McIlroy quoted after Sunday's round. I think with everything that's transpired in the last few days, I don't think it's surprising, McIlroy said. I was really glad to see DJ and Bryson put out those statements this week. We all want to play against the best players in the world, and they're certainly two of the best players in the world. And it's nice to know that they're committed to playing here and committed to making this the best tour in the world. McIlroy was also asked if DeChambeau Johnson's decision will be the end of the Super League concept. McIlroy said, "Yes, who's left? Who's left to go? I mean, there's no one. It's dead in the water, in my opinion," he said. "I just can't see any reason why anyone would go." And you look at the statement, and you got to think, did Phil Mickelson just take money out of Ian Poulter's and Lee Westwood's pocket? Because in my opinion, the league it might not be dead, but it's damn near close. It might be really freaking close. I mean, the top 20 guys in the world have all said, "Hey, we're not going. We're not going to the PGL. We're not going to play. It ain't in the cards. It ain't going to happen." And you think, I mean, Jon Rahm, this is my one and only time I will talk about this, where I'm officially declaring my field to the PGA Tour. I'm a PAC member, and I have a lot of belief in Commissioner Jay Monahan and the product that they're giving us in the future. Colin Morikawa, I'm all for the PGA Tour. Victor Holland, if I had my wish, I'd just keep playing the PGA Tour. Rory McIlroy, I knew the way these guys have operated. It's all been smoke and mirrors. Justin Thomas, I think that's a big reason why I've been in the position I've been in, being for the PGA Tour. Dustin Johnson, in the last few months, it's been speculated he's sticking with the PGA Tour. Jordan Spieth, I don't know, considering how many in the top 10, 50 players in the world have committed publicly to the PGA Tour, including those guys, DeChambeau and Johnson. I don't know who they're going to fill it out and make it worth it. I'm surprised by Bryson with the rumors about his offer, and we all know he was strongly considering it, which kind of cracks me up. But it seems like it's dead. It seems like the PGL, the Beheading Classic, is over. Is it a step in the right direction for the PGA Tour? I don't know. Did it help motivate them to maybe stop going down the status quo road? Maybe to change things up, maybe to mix it up, and maybe to reward the players. I mean, I can promise you, like, if my son goes, "Dad, I want to play football," I'd be like, "No, you're going to play golf. You can play football. You're just going to be the professional golfer." Because, good God, that's so much freaking money. And I think there's just more money out there. So, is the PGL dead? Probably. Is it remarkable that's lasted this long? Not really. It's kind of shocking, and it's kind of scary and nerve-wracking all at the same time. But we'll see. We'll see what Phil Mickelson has to say. We'll see what happens at the Players Championship. I'm assuming that they're going to make a run. I'm sure all the money that's invested, all the resources, the time, the effort, and are they going to keep going? I don't know. Can they afford a rival tour? I don't know. Are you going to be able to ride on the high heels of freaking Ian Poulter to empower this tour? I don't know. But what I do know is that the PGA Tour is changing, which is good. Change is good at times. And competition is even better. If you have a competitor out there, you're literally like going to improve your product. It's going to be better for the viewers. It's going to be better for the players. It's going to be better for everyone. And I'm excited about that. But what I'm most excited about is talking to you guys again on Wednesday. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast and the YouTube show. Do me a favor, pay the bills. Pay the bills. That's all I got to ask. Leave a comment, leave a review. That's the only way that we're going to be able to grow. And hell, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want to reach out and say, hey, JC, I would love to talk some golf. Hey, don't hesitate. Just hit me up. You can hit me up in the DMs. You got my phone number, email, whatever it is. I look forward to talking to you guys on Wager Wednesday. Look out for that. We got some big picks when it comes to the old Honda Classic. They are preparing. They have hired more security because they don't want the waste management in Florida, which just cracks me up, which we'll get to that. We'll talk about that anyway. So really appreciate it, guys. As always, hit bombs, attack pins, and aloha press. And more importantly,
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Wearing all black.
Aloha! Here with JC and Jeff.
Ain't no time for school today.
Hitting bombs.
Hey, watch this punch cut knob wedge. Replace your Marshalls with Cart Girls. They're better looking. They're serving drinks.
Got to hit bombs off the tee.
Phil talking about a guy taking a shit in the cut.
Mahalo!
That's what we did fireside with Phil.
Fire at the stick.
Hit bomb and attack the pin.